For example, if this is a tank that needs to fill up with a certain liquid and it needs to hit certain sensors, you can simulate on your laptop a tank that's going to fill and that's going to discharge. But until you see the real liquid and the sensor reading the height of that tank or the load cell interacting with the tank and having a real signal coming back, it's difficult to say how it's going to work. So to that point, a lot of development when it comes to PLCs and even HMIs or SCADAs is really dependent on building that software and pushing it to the machine. In the software world, on the IT side, a lot of it is going to be tested within what's called CI/CD pipelines, and basically there's going to be unit tests. And again, I'm not saying it is not possible in the industrial setting, but it's difficult to simulate the physical presence of the machine. Why should we care about Git? What benefits does it provide in manufacturing? What are some of the challenges, maybe some of the opportunities? We've talked about a couple of challenges, but ultimately, let me illustrate a couple more. Like I said, the PLC is going to have the runtime of the application. What usually happens in the manufacturing setting is that you have that PLC tied to your HMI, right? So this is going to be HMI, HMI, and this is your PLC. The challenge is that your PLC will interact with the HMI via registers, right? And so your registers are going to be changed based on the inputs, not only from the system, but also based on the interactions from the operators. So a specific example would be you have a batch, right? So you have a tank where you have a certain temperature set point set for your batch. So for example, a temperature sensor on the tank is tied to your PLC input card, and this is going to be T1, for example, and this temperature for this specific batch needs to reach, I don't know, let's say 40 degrees C for, I don't know, 2 hours, right? So 2 hours. For a different batch, it needs to be set to 80 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. The problem is that these variables or registers are not necessarily part of the PLC program. The programmer has created a routine and a set of logic files that will be put on the PLC with the intent that the registers can be set via the HMI by the operator for that specific batch. So when you're trying to version control a PLC program, you do not necessarily just want, so this is the file, PLC program,